What if I told you that the very act most men avoid, hide, or feel embarrassed to talk about, masturbation, might actually be one of the keys to protecting not just your prostate, but your entire sexual health as you age? I'm not talking about myths, taboos, or locker room gossip. I'm talking about real, measurable physical changes in your body and in your penis, grounded in biology and backed by science. And the truth is, no man over 60 can afford to ignore this. Because doing nothing, letting time, age, and inaction take their toll, often comes at a much greater cost than most men ever imagine. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. James Ellison, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of clinical experience working with aging men across the country. I've sat across from countless patients in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, all of whom believed the same thing: that sexual health fades naturally with age, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They were wrong. Once they learned the science of what was actually happening inside their bodies and what they could do to support it, their confidence, function, and overall vitality began to change dramatically. Here's what most men are never told. Your penis is still active. It's still responding, still trying to function, whether you feel like it or not. But it needs support. It needs healthy blood flow. It needs regular stimulation. It needs care. And in this video, I'll show you how something as simple and natural as masturbation, when understood and done the right way, can help you maintain strength, control, and connection well into your later years. And when you give it that, something surprising happens. You activate systems in your body that keep your blood flowing, your tissues alive, your hormones balanced, and your prostate clean and healthy. This is more than pleasure, it's preservation. In this video, I'm going to share 5 specific things that happen to your penis when you masturbate in your later years. The 5th one is so unexpected, so overlooked that most doctors don't even mention it. But trust me, it could change how you age, how you feel, and how you live. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time to do it. And make sure to turn on the bell so you never miss another video designed specifically for men like you. If this topic speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't quite hit the mark, type 0 and let me know how I can better serve your health needs moving forward. Now that you understand why this matters, let's get into the first powerful change that happens to your penis when you masturbate, and it's one most men overlook completely. It all starts with something your body depends on more than you realize: blood flow. 1. Improved blood flow. Your penis gets a circulation boost. I still remember the first time an older patient, he was 68, looked at me and asked, "Is it too late for me to care about this?" He was talking about erections, about his manhood, about feeling like himself again. And I told him the truth. It's never too late, but it does take effort and understanding. One of the most powerful things we overlook as we age is how critical blood flow is to our sexual health. Not just for getting or maintaining an erection, but for the overall vitality of the penile tissue. You see, as we get older, our arteries don't work quite the same. Blood vessels stiffen, circulation slows, and the smallest vessels, like the ones supplying blood to the penis, are often the first to show signs of decline. But here's what most men don't realize. Regular sexual stimulation, including masturbation, can actually help improve blood flow in that area. Every time you become aroused, every time you reach climax, your body sends a rush of blood through the pelvic region. That process isn't just about pleasure, it's about keeping tissue healthy and alive. When blood flows into the penis, it brings oxygen, nutrients, and life to the erectile chambers, the corpus cavernosum. This isn't just anatomy, it's function. Without that regular surge of circulation, those tissues begin to break down over time. They can atrophy, and yes, the penis can shrink. But when you stay sexually active, even with yourself, you're keeping that system working. practicing the same biological patterns that your body was built to maintain. This isn't about vanity or proving anything. It's about preservation. It's about refusing to let go of something that's still yours. I've seen men in their 70s reclaim their sense of confidence and physical strength, not because they took a magic pill, but because they started listening to their bodies and responding with care. The act may be simple, but the effect is powerful. Improved blood flow means more than just better function. It means better health, more vitality, and a signal to your body that you are still alive, still engaged, still fighting for yourself. But that's just the beginning. Because what happens after that blood rush, what your body clears out and resets, is where the real surprise lies. Let me show you what I mean. If you're still here and this message is resonating with you, go ahead and type the number 1 in the comments just to let me know you're still with me on this journey. Now, let's keep going and dive into the second key change you need to know. 2. Ejaculation helps flush the system, preventing blockages and pain. There's something most men don't talk about, but I hear it all the time behind closed doors. A dull ache in the testicles, a sense of pressure in the lower abdomen, or that strange, uncomfortable feeling of fullness that you can't quite explain. It's not always pain, but it's enough to make you worry. And when I ask how often they're ejaculating, the answer is often, it's been a while. That's when I explain what's really happening inside the body. As a man ages, the fluid systems of the reproductive tract, the prostate, seminal vesicles, and surrounding structures can slow down. These glands produce and store the fluid that becomes semen. And like any system that stores fluid, if it's not cleared out regularly, things can back up. Stagnant fluids lead to inflammation, discomfort, and sometimes even infection. The body isn't designed to hold on to old material indefinitely. When you masturbate and reach climax, you're not just releasing tension or enjoying a moment of pleasure. You're performing an essential biological function. Ejaculation clears out built-up seminal fluid. It keeps the pathways open and functioning. Think of it like flushing the pipes in a house. If you don't run water through the system for too long, pressure builds, sediment collects, and eventually the whole thing can clog or break down. I've had patients come back after a few weeks of regular ejaculation, something they hadn't prioritized in years, and tell me that the heaviness they'd felt for so long was gone, that they felt lighter, cleaner, and more in tune with their bodies. That's not coincidence. That's biology responding to consistency. Ignoring this part of your health because of shame, age, or outdated beliefs doesn't protect you. It sets you up for discomfort and potential medical issues like chronic prostatitis or enlarged prostate symptoms. Regular ejaculation, even through solo activity, is a simple, effective way to reduce your risk. So no, you're not too old for this. In fact, your body might be asking for it subtly, quietly, but persistently. But while release helps cleanse the system, there's something else happening in the background. Something deeper, hormonal, and tied to how you think, feel, and even how you heal. And that change, it all begins in the brain. Let's explore what that really means. 3. Hormonal harmony, a natural boost of testosterone and endorphins. One of the most overlooked aspects of aging in men isn't what happens to the body. It's what happens to the mind. I've had patients sit across from me, not complaining about pain or dysfunction, but about something harder to describe. I just don't feel like myself anymore, they say. I feel flat, disconnected, like something's missing. And more often than not, what they're experiencing is a shift in hormones, a quiet, gradual change that affects mood, energy, even their sense of identity. What most people don't realize is that sexual activity, even solo, has a profound impact on your hormone levels. Masturbation isn't just about release, It's a reset. When you engage in regular sexual stimulation and reach climax, your brain triggers a hormonal cascade that affects every part of your being. Testosterone rises. Dopamine floods the reward centers of the brain. Oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, spikes, helping you feel more connected, calmer, more grounded. And then there are the endorphins, your body's natural painkillers and mood elevators. These aren't just pleasant side effects. They're part of your biology's way of regulating emotional health, stress response, and even physical healing. In a world where so many older men struggle with anxiety, depression, or a loss of drive, this natural hormonal shift can be a lifeline. I've had men in their 60s and 70s tell me that after reconnecting with their bodies through regular masturbation, they felt more present in their lives, more capable, more alive. The key here is balance. You're not trying to chase some high. You're working with your body to restore the chemical signals it was always meant to receive. The kind that tells your brain, you're still here, you still matter, you're still whole. And that message delivered through a simple private act can ripple through every part of your day. Better sleep, sharper focus, less irritability, more motivation. It may not sound like much, but over time, these small shifts add up to something powerful. So yes, the body responds, but the mind transforms. And once that clarity returns, something else becomes possible. Strength. Because the next change isn't just about how you feel. It's about what your body can still do. And you might be surprised just how much control you still have. If you're still watching, and these insights are striking a chord with you, type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're here and engaged. Now let's keep moving forward with point number 4. 4. Pelvic floor training. Stronger erections through muscle activation. There's a moment I'll never forget. A man in his early 70s came to see me, quiet and reserved. He didn't complain at first. He hesitated as many do, but eventually he looked at me and said, "Doctor, I can still feel everything, but it's like my body can't follow through anymore." That moment stuck with me because he wasn't alone. What he was describing wasn't just about aging or hormones. It was about the deep muscles we rarely think about, the pelvic floor. Most men don't realize that every time they reach climax, their pelvic floor muscles are actively working. These muscles, the same ones you use to stop the flow of urine midstream, contract rhythmically to support ejaculation. Over time, like any unused muscle, they weaken if not engaged, and that's where the trouble begins. Weaker pelvic floor muscles can mean softer erections, reduced control, and even urinary leakage. But the good news is you can train them, and masturbation, surprisingly, plays a role in that process. When you masturbate regularly, you're not just maintaining circulation or hormonal balance. You're activating and exercising the very muscles that support your sexual function. It's not unlike a workout. You're strengthening the connection between mind, muscle, and performance. Some men even regain control they thought was lost simply by re-engaging this part of their body. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming function. About proving to yourself that the machine still works, that strength hasn't completely faded. In fact, studies have shown that men who actively engage their pelvic floor muscles can see improvements in erectile firmness and even duration. It's subtle at first, but over weeks, sometimes months, the body begins to respond. The tissue firms, the control sharpens, and that quiet confidence returns. And let me tell you, confidence in your body at this stage of life isn't just a bonus. It's a lifeline. It changes how you stand, how you move, how you see yourself. But strength isn't the final piece of this puzzle, because what's coming next is something most men never hear about. Yet, it might be the most important discovery of all. It's not just about keeping things working. It's about protecting yourself from long-term damage you never saw coming. Let's go deeper. 5. Protection against erectile dysfunction, ED, and cognitive decline. I once had a patient. He was 74, sharp-minded and proud, but he came in frustrated. "It's like my body and my brain are both slowing down," he told me, "and I'm scared of what comes next." That fear is more common than most men admit, and it's not without reason. As we age, there's a gradual decline that starts to touch every system, especially those we once took for granted. But here's what I shared with him, and what I'll share with you now. Regular ejaculation, including through masturbation, might be doing far more for your future health than anyone ever told you. It goes deeper than sexual performance. Regular ejaculation stimulates the release of nitric oxide, a natural compound that supports blood vessel flexibility and helps maintain strong, responsive erections. But beyond that, it reduces the buildup of inflammatory markers in your system. Markers that have been linked not just to erectile dysfunction, but also to diseases of the brain, including forms of cognitive decline. That's right. What happens down there can affect what happens up here. It turns out that sexual activity, even when done alone, activates regions of the brain tied to memory, focus, and emotional balance. In some cases, it's been shown to reduce anxiety and promote better sleep. Think about that. A private act that many older men feel embarrassed about could be supporting your long-term health in ways medication often can't. And let's not forget the emotional toll of ED, the way it can slowly chip away at confidence, intimacy, and connection. Many men suffer in silence, believing it's just part of aging. But science is showing us that regular sexual activity, even masturbation, helps keep these systems in working order, delaying or reducing the onset of dysfunction that so many assume is inevitable. No, this isn't a magic fix, but it is a habit, a pattern of care that adds up over time. It's about staying in rhythm with your own biology, giving your body a chance to do what it was designed to do. And that's the part most men never hear. Your body is still capable of fighting for you if you let it. But this isn't just about function or prevention. This next part, this final message, is something I need every man to hear, because it's not about science or blood flow or muscles anymore. It's about dignity. Let me speak to you, man-to man, a word to my fellow older men. I want to take a moment now, not as a doctor, but as a man in your corner, because if you've made it this far into the video, I know something about you. You care. You're not ready to give up. And maybe, like so many men I've worked with, you've quietly wondered if it's still worth it, if any of this still matters. Let me tell you, it absolutely does. I've seen too many good men slowly give in to the lie that aging is just a slow surrender. That once you hit a certain age, you're supposed to step aside, shrink back, or disappear. And yet, here you are, still seeking, still listening, still showing up for yourself. That matters more than you know. You see, we don't talk enough about what it feels like to grow older as a man. The changes are subtle at first. Less energy, less drive, more silence. And before long, you begin to wonder if you're fading, not just physically, but emotionally. The truth is, you're not fading, you're evolving. And you still have more power, more control, and more potential than you've probably been told. Taking care of your sexual health isn't about clinging to youth. It's about owning your present. It's about knowing that you are allowed to feel, to want, to care for your body without shame. And if that starts with something as simple as giving yourself permission to reconnect with your own physical self through masturbation, then so be it. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're not too old. You're still here. And that means there's still time to strengthen, to heal, and to grow. This journey isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. And every small step you take sends a message to your mind and your body that you're not giving up. You're still in the fight, still in the story, still choosing yourself one decision at a time. And if you've been with me through each of these 5 changes, there's one last thing I want to leave you with. A reminder that might just shift how you look at everything. Because this isn't only about health, it's about legacy. Let's bring it home. Conclusion. So, here we are. You've heard the 5 ways masturbation can impact your health as an older man. Better blood flow, reduced buildup and pain, balanced hormones, stronger pelvic muscles, and even protection against ED and cognitive decline. But beyond the science, I hope you've taken something deeper from this, because this conversation isn't just about the penis or performance or age. It's about you. I've had the honor of walking beside men who faced aging with strength, doubt, fear, and courage. And what I've learned is this: when you stay engaged with your body, when you choose to care for yourself with intention and without shame, something changes. You stop drifting. You come back into your life with clarity and presence. Your story isn't over. In fact, this chapter right now could be the most grounded, powerful, and self-aware one yet. So take what you've learned here and let it remind you that your body is still working for you and you can still work with it. Aging isn't the end. Sometimes it's the beginning of something deeper. Take care of yourself. You've earned it.